Smart24, driving business.
Welcome back from that short break. Welcome back to those updates from the Uganda Securities Exchange and Anthony's insights on all those companies as you've had. So we are back with the Nairobi Securities Exchange as well as the rest of Africa. I am still Victor Chiberu, and I will be going deep into those insights with the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Just for starters, the Nairobi Securities Exchange is already an entity of its own, and another remarkable thing about it is listed on its own stock exchange, which is quite an amazing step, and it's something that Uganda Securities Exchange itself is looking so much into. But the Nairobi Securities Exchange launched one of its growth enterprises market segment, which is a really fantastic initiative. It provides small enterprises with an opportunity to access the capital markets and raise the necessary funding for growth. So the NSE has actually got a lot to offer, and it has different types of investors, from large corporations to emerging startups. But now diving straight into what is happening in the markets today, here are some of the key players on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And first, we've got Absa Bank Kenya with the ticker symbol ABSA. They have actually got a substantial volume of 90,900 shares traded only yesterday alone, which is quite some activity. But Gloria, welcome to the show. Could you please give us some insights on ABSA Bank?
Well, looking into Absa Bank, well, they have some substantial performance here, coming up among the top performers in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. But now let's dive into what's happening to the market today, looking at the top players and all. Let's not forget ARM Cement Limited, which is a household name in the construction sector, and Bamburi Cement Limited, also another significant player with their activities closely related to infrastructure and development.
Well, we had also just talked about British American Tobacco and with Anthony, and it is really becoming a problem. And no offense, but the cross-listed entities have already proven to cost investors a 2.2 trillion Ugandan shillings. So it is indeed quite a sticky step for now. But British American Tobacco, also known as BAT, is one of those iconic companies that are often featured on the NSE. And actually, speaking iconic, we're looking at BK Group PLC, which is part of the big league.
And there's also BOC Kenya Limited, often referred to as BOC. They're also involved in industrial and medical gases. And taking a closer look to Britam Holdings Limited, with their prices moving at a stable price as of today.
Well, we're also looking at Cabasid Investments, and they made a notable 0.60 increase today. And another player is in the automotive sector is actually Car and General Kenya Limited, also known as CGEN, and it is a really diversified company.
Exactly, and we have CIC Insurance Group Limited, which is also seeing a significant volume of around 188,000 shares. And there's also a big name, actually, the Cooperative Bank of Kenya Limited, which is under the ticker symbol of COOP. There is an integral part, actually, of the Kenya's financial sector.
Well, just putting a small, just for a minute, just turning to the numbers of the Nairobi Securities Exchange at large. That was just a small insight on the best, on the companies that are worth looking at, that are noteworthy in this particular period. And actually, we will be going back to give you a little more insights on most of those companies, just a one-on-one on all of them, so you can know what exactly you need to put your money in. Investors thought investing in another securities exchange is basically doing it cross-listed, and so that you know that the company is in your country and in another foreign country. But as we have seen, cross-listed entities are actually going through it. But as of yesterday, we saw a total of 6,429,100 shares in 934 deals, corresponding to a market value of 94,561,669 Kenyan shillings. And compared with the previous trading day, actually the data is showing a 34% decline in volume and a 38% decline in turnover, as well as a 13% decline in deals. And this is actually leaving us at a market capitalization of 1.38 trillion Kenyan shillings. And
in aggregate, we have around 41 listed NEC equities that participated in trading as of the last trading day. We had 20 gainers and 15 losers. We have Standard Group coming in and led the gainers by 9.8% share price appreciation. Then we also have Flame Tree Holdings coming in with 8.33% share price appreciation. We have TPS East African Serena with a share price appreciation of 7.11%, and Uchumi Supermarket with a share price appreciation of 5.88%. What do you have for us from the losing side?
Well, on the losing side, we're actually seeing Williamson Tea Kenya that actually came out last with an end-of-day trading, an end-of-day price depreciation of 9.97%. This was closing at 205.50 Kenyan shillings per share. It was followed closely by Ilam Fahari, and we were seeing a price depreciation of 5.71%. Centum Investments, and we're seeing a depreciation of 4.68%, and Everyday East Africa with a price depreciation of 3.76%. So actually Kengen came up with the most recorded, with the highest recorded volume of 2.49 million traded shares, followed by Equity Group Holdings with 1.76 million, Safaricom with 811,900, and KCB Group with 373,800. But Gloria, we were actually discussing about KCB in the previous session with Anthony. Don't you think it's worth going a little deeper into it to see its performance, particularly on the Nairobi Stock Exchange?
Exactly, Victor. It's actually an interesting topic to go into. Well, KCB, as of Kenya, actually is a commercial bank, as we all know. It provides corporate and retail banking services. It offers various personal banking products and services such as savings, current accounts, personal loans, and so on. But diving into its recent performance, KCB Group actually closed its last trading day at 17.20 Kenyan shillings per share on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. This recorded actually a 1.7% drop from its previous closing price of 17.50 Kenyan shillings. So KCB began the year with a share price of 38.10 Kenyan shillings, but has lost 54.9% of that valuation, ranking it at 62nd on the Nairobi Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance.
Well, talking of year-to-date performance, shareholders' worries are actually compounded by the fact that KCB has lost 18% of the stock's value from October 2nd to date. And KCB Group remains the 7th most traded stock on the exchange over the past 3 months. But KCB has actually traded a total volume of 28.1 million in 7,288 deals. And this was valued at 620 million Kenyan shillings over the period. Actually, this was leaving us at an average of 446,819 traded shares per session. So, Gloria, what is your take on the volume high?
Well, I think that KCB Group needs to actually do better from its performance right now. And I don't think investors should be worried, because considering we all know the market is dynamic.
Indeed,
and
it really is.
Fluctuations during the day. So in the end of the day, we have to look at the indices and look at the year-to-date performance instead of looking at their daily performances.
Indeed, but in terms of actually volume high, we're seeing they're trying with a 4.68 million, and that was achieved on October 31st. But we're also seeing a low of 61,000 on October 24th of the same period.
Exactly. Then looking at two other companies, Victor, we have Absa New Group, which is under the ticker symbol of GLD, offering a unique investment opportunity in exchange-traded fund space. And then we also have Home Africa Limited, which is a prominent player when it comes to real estate sector. These are all part of the equities under the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We have I&M Holdings PLC, also in the mix. Actually, they are part of the finance sector. Then talking about the insurance side, we have Jubilee Holdings Limited that play a vital role in this sector too.
Well, indeed, actually, it is very insightful to see the insurance sector also being listed on the equity market. We need actually more of this, because insurance is actually another really promising sector in terms of shares and involving investor activity. But looking at Captura Tea Company Limited, and it is actually also making waves with an 8.25% increase in share price.
Exactly. Then Victor, looking into our other top gainers as of yesterday's of trading session, what do you have for us from there?
Well, yesterday's top traders, we have already seen the highest recorded trading volume is coming in from it is coming in from Kengen. And Kengen is mainly electricals, as well as they actually are diversified. They have a really diversified portfolio. And looking at Kengen, they're majoring in electric power generating, and that is in East Africa alone. But the company is actually engaged in the business of developing, managing, and operating power generation plants to supply electricity power to the Kenyan market. And we do believe they have plans of widening their market in terms of electricity supply. But turning our attention to the figures, Kengen has really shown some sparkling performance. We are looking at a 2.40 Kenyan shillings share price, and that is where it closed its previous trading day. But we're also seeing it at a 2.35 Kenyan shillings per share, and it's actually giving us it started the year with the price of 3.22 Kenyan shillings, and this is giving us a 27% loss of that price valuation. But Gloria, what do you think about the ranking?
Well, looking at its ranking, is actually the 50th on the NSE sector in terms of a year-to-date performance. And Kengen is also the 9th most traded stock on the Nairobi Securities Exchange over the past 3 months. This is August 3rd to November 1st. Kengen has also traded a volume of around 23.2 million shares in around 3,179 deals, and these are also valued at around 53.9 million Kenyan shillings over that period, with an average of around 368,354 traded shares per session, giving us a volume high of 2.9 million that was achieved on October 16th and a low of 6,500 on August 24th on the same period.
Well, turning our attention to Kenya Reinsurance Corporation Limited, it seems to be performing well today, and Kenya Power and Lighting Company is part of the action too. But we've actually got to mention Kenya Power had a 4% preference shares, and Kenya Power had a 7% preference share, which is KPLC P7, and the 4% is actually on KPLC P4, and they provide an interesting investment choice for those who like preference shares.
Exactly, and looking on to our other gainers on this trading session, we have Flame Tree Holdings Limited, which is also listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange under the ticker symbol of FTGH. So looking into the last trading session on the exchange, this company actually closed at around 1.30 Kenyan shillings on its last trading day, recording an 8.3% gain over its previous closing price of 1.20 Kenyan shillings. So Flame Tree began the year with around 1.08 Kenyan shillings and has gained around 20.4% on that share price valuation, ranking it the 12th on the NSE in terms of year-to-date performance.
Well, Flame Tree Holdings is the 40th most traded stock on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and that has been so over the past 3 months. But FTGH has actually traded a total volume of 187,400, and that is in 202 deals.
Exactly.
Valued at 31,925 over the period. This is actually bringing us to an average of 2,975 traded shares per session.
Then looking into one of our top losers, we have Smart24 Kenya Limited, which is also a Kenya-based company engaged after all in cultivation, manufacture and distribution of tea in Kenya. So this company actually operates in Changoi Tea Farm. This is located in the Great Rift Valley in Kapchora Tea Farm. So looking into its recent performance on the exchange, Victor, what do you have for us?
Well, looking at the numbers, they closed at 205.50 Kenyan shillings, and that was as per their previous closing price. But according to the day before, we're recording a 10% drop in its previous from its previous closing price of 228.25 Kenyan shillings. Williamson Tea began the year with a share price of 160 Kenyan shillings, and it has since gained 28.4% on the price valuation, ranking it 8th on the Nairobi Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance, which is exactly what investors want to see. And looking at this 28.4%, it's quite an improvement, it's quite a movement. And even if we're looking at Williamson Tea Kenya as a loser today, I know its investors are steady in their seats because they know that the price already actually doubled the initial starting price of the year.
Interesting. And Williamson Tea Kenya is actually the 43rd most traded stock on the Nairobi Securities Exchange over the past 3 months. This is from August 3rd to November 1st, 2023. It's actually having a ticker symbol of WTK and has traded a volume of around 166,500 shares in over 254 deals. This is also valued at around 38 million Kenyan shillings over that period, with an average of around 2,643 traded shares per session, and a volume high of 36,000 that was achieved on September 25th for the same period.
And now, Kenya Airways Limited is also an iconic name in the aviation industry, but we're also looking at Kakuzi Limited, that is also part of the agricultural sector, and their performance today was quite noteworthy. And let's not forget Kawitu Ventures Limited, that stands for the symbol KURV, which provides a different investment perspective, and as well as Lap Trust Imara Income, that is a key player in the real estate investment trusts segment. But we're also seeing Liberty Kenya Holdings Limited. Gloria, what do you have from Liberty?
Well, as per now, we don't have any update from Liberty when looking at their performance on the exchange yesterday, as they were pretty inactive. But we do have something from Centum Investment Company PLC, which is a leading investment company in terms of providing investors with access to portfolio of inaccessible and diverse investments. Its headquarters are actually in Kenya, but also operating in Uganda and Tanzania. The company invests in sectors such as real estate, fast-moving consumer goods, and financial services. So when we look at Centum Investment's performance as of yesterday, the company actually closed at 8.40 Kenyan shillings per share, and this gives it a recording a drop of around 4.7% from its present closing price of around 8.98 Kenyan shillings.
Well, thank you for all those insights on Centum. It is a cross-listed company and it did require that limelight. But we will be right back after a short break with the rest of Africa and more news on Africa and the world at large, basically on the financial landscape. Don't touch your dial. We'll be right back.
Smart24, driving business.